it's Froggy, and I'm back again with another episode of Hakuoki Kyoto Winds. So let's continue on. January 5th, 1867. Yeah, somehow. Just a little shaken. As the days progressed, the hellish cannon fire was becoming closer and closer to us. By this morning, these cannons had finally started hitting the magistrate directly. 2 whole days had passed since the war started, and that seemed to be enough to determine the final outcome.
これはまた厳しい状況になってきましたね。
なんとかなんねえのかよ、三男さん。
こうなってはさすがに我々羅刹隊もなす術がありません。発射元を潰しに行くことはできますが、それも焼け石に水でしょうね。
And as the fates sought to vindicate Sanin, the cannon fire became more bombastic in the background. Eventually the flames began to engulf the magistrate. I watched as the smoke and fire tore the roof down from sections of the building. In the corner of my eye, I saw Hijikata wincing to himself and trying to contain his anger. Hijikata, where are you going?
決まってんだろ。薩長軍の奴らを押し返すんだよ。
It's too dangerous.
分かってる。完全に敵の勢いに飲まれちまった。その流れを覆して士気を上げるには俺が先陣を切るしかねえんだ。
Hijikata irately clanged his sword against the charred ground, and he stepped into the bleakness. However, blocking him from moving forward was Yamazaki.
お待ちください、副長。あなたを行かせるわけにはいきません。
何の真似だ、山崎。
あなたなら分かっているはずです。敵とこちらには圧倒的な戦力の差があると。
だからこそ俺が行くんだろうが。大将が先陣切って戦うところを見せりゃ他の連中も振るって。
あなたが前に立ったところで
言ってくれるじゃねえか、山崎。俺が前線に出ても意味がねえ。
誤解を恐れず言うならばその通りです。
I could feel my cheeks vibrate from the grumble of the floor below before bullets began raining down near where we stood. However, Yamazaki and Hijikata were still glaring at one another, neither one willing to budge. Yamazaki, Hijikata, it's dangerous here. We have to get away.
バカなこと言ってんじゃねえ。俺はこの隊を近藤さんから預かってんだ。やられっぱなしで逃げろってのか。このまま逃げるなんざ我慢ならねえ。それならいっそ
どうするおつもりですか。
Yamazaki's retort made Hijikata gasp. What Yamazaki did next shocked me. He'd grabbed Hijikata by the collar.
ふざけるな。あなたは自分の命の価値が分かっていない。
I don't think I could ever imagine Yamazaki crossing Hijikata in the way that I was witnessing. However, Hijikata didn't seem angry from this display. Instead, he just stared back.
近藤局長がいない今、あなたこそが新選組の俺たちの象徴なんだ。そんなあなたがこの負け戦で前に出て戦ってどうするんです。あなたはたとえ他の大使を盾にしても生きて隊を率いなければならない。それが上に立つ者の義務だ。違いますか。お願いします、副長。
For a second, it seemed time stood still, and the cannon fire felt a million miles away. At the moment, all the commotion from the violence and the flames didn't seem to matter.
まさかお前に諭されるとは思わなかった。
Hijikata murmured to himself, and he shook his head as if it cleared his mind. Then his expression became a bright one.
すまねえな、 お前の言う通りだ。僕はまだ命を張る場面じゃない。まだ反撃の機会はいくらでもある。
Then
ああ、てめえら聞け！撤退だ！
even though he declared an order of retreat, puffing his chest up confidently as he spoke. The clarity of Hijikata's commands cut through the sounds of cannon fire around us. The winter sky was turning gray from the seemingly endless smoke plumes scattered around us. Covering our bodies was the bitter taste of soot, and defeat was starting to sink in. Our bodies were heavy with fatigue, dragging us and our hearts into the unshakable darkness. Along with Yamazaki, Shimada, Inoue, and a few other warriors, I was able to escape the magistrate, if only barely.
大丈夫か、雪村君。君は開戦からこれまでずっと働き詰めだったはずだが。
Well, that goes for you too, Yamazaki, as well as the rest of the men. I'm not in any position to complain about what's going on.
そうか。
どのみち、ここからなら、淀城まであと少しですからね。淀藩の藩主は、老中を務めておられますし、幕府方として快く受け入れてくれるでしょう。
Okay, then let's get there as soon as possible. I nodded to Shimada, and we'd taken a gander at our surroundings. Every single warrior around us was covered in either blood or soot, and their heads hung low. I couldn't blame them, though. The Shinsengumi had been slowly gaining renown and prestige from the last few battles, so because this was their first real loss, it hit hard. What would become of the Shinsengumi in the future? I found myself muttering those words to myself as I'd scanned the devastation around me. It had been 4 years since I'd arrived in Kyoto. I was detained by the Shinsengumi, living with warriors throughout this whole time. Maybe I took my situation for granted, and I'd figured the Shinsengumi would be around forever. What if they were too... I was suddenly brought back to reality as Yamazaki brushed my hand lightly with his sleeve. Then I found myself reflexively grabbing onto his sleeves out of desperation. Yamazaki's eyes slightly grew wide in surprise.
大丈夫だ、雪村君。新選組はまだ終わったりはしない。
Yamazaki moved a little awkwardly, trying to find my troubling hands so that he could hold them.
たとえこの戦いで一時地にまみれようとも絶対に諦めたりはしない。俺たちの居場所は、君の居場所は。
Okay. Yamazaki's kind words set my heart at ease. I gripped his hand tightly, as if clinging to it for warmth. Just then... Ah, hello. I noticed Shimada was smiling, watching our interaction.
ひょっとして、我々はお邪魔ですか？
What?
待ってくれ。どういう意味だ、島田君。
いやいや、深い意味はありません。ただ、今の山崎君を見ていると、以前とはだいぶ変わったと思いまして。
変わった？俺が？
ええ。山崎君を近くで見てきた俺が言うんだから間違いありません。少なくとも以前の山崎君なら、副長の判断に逆らってまで撤退を進言したりはしなかったでしょう。
言われてみれば、そうかもしれないな。
Shimada smiled warmly, looking at me for a second before turning to face Yamazaki again. Suddenly, though, his expression became serious.
山崎君は任務のためならば自分の命を差し出すことをためらわない。俺はそれが山崎君の強さであり、同時に弱さだと思っています。
Shimada.
だから俺は思うんです。山崎君にはきっと傍らで支えてあげる人が必要だと。
島田君、それは。
Just as Yamazaki was about to respond.
なんだ、今の銃声は。
前の方からです。
Oh no. As I recalled, Inoue was in the front of the troop. I could almost feel the blood leaving my body. My stomach dropped from the thought of it, almost as if to confirm my worst fears. He dies in this one too. Inoue appeared, blood gushing from his abdomen, and he was wheezing with strained breaths. Inoue, are you okay?
何があったんですか？今の銃声は。
みんな逃げなさい。淀町は幕府を見限った。
What? How? Did the Yoda domain join the Satsuma Chosu too?
ああ、この先は薩摩藩の兵が待ち伏せている。早く逃げ。
くそ、みんな散れ！敵に的を絞らせるな！
井上さんは俺が連れて行きます。山崎君は雪村君を。
ああ、こうなれば大坂城まで引くほかない。そちらで合流しよう。死ぬなよ、島田君。
Please stay safe. We scurried down an animal trail on the side of the path, and Yamazaki and I ran through an unpaved road. We quickly brushed aside scattered branches and ignored the various cuts we'd received from them.
そっちだ！逃がすな！まだ他にいるはずだ。探せ！
That gunshot just now.
振り返るな！自分が逃げることだけ考えるんだ。
I thought that getting to Kyoto Castle meant we were safe, that we'd be able to see Hijikata and the other men and regroup to fight again. However, all I could feel now was despair. Only the warmth from Yamazaki's hands could give me comfort as I'd forced myself to run, even as I felt my legs want to collapse from tiredness.
いたぞ！
As soon as we'd gotten to a more exposed area, two soldiers armed with rifles found us. Guns were far more savage than a sword, requiring only the pull of a trigger to take someone's life. As their guns were pointed towards us, I thought about how delicately our lives held in the balance. I don't know what came first. The sound of the gunshots firing or the feeling of being pushed out of the way. Yamazaki! Yamazaki threw his kunai with all of his might, and it landed right in the hearts of the Satsuma men. Kunai, a stick-type throwing weapon often employed by ninjas. But I didn't care about that at all. Yamazaki, are you okay? Why did you? I lifted Yamazaki's body to see a pool of blood beginning to form around his thighs. With tears in my eyes, I put pressure on his wounds, and he looked at me, crying. I didn't care one bit about my safety. All that mattered to me was that he was hurt. Why would you try to protect me? You should know, Yamazaki, if my organs are safe, then my injuries will heal. If you had just let me be, you wouldn't have been hurt.
そうだな。合理的に考えればその方が良かったのかもしれない。俺が無傷のままであればこの後逃げ切る可能性も増える。
But then, Yamazaki softly patted my head, gazing into my puffy eyes, and he smiled brightly.
許してくれ、雪村君。頭では分かっていても体が君を守ろうと勝手に動いたんだ。効率がいいからそのまま君に怪我をしてもらう。君を盾にしてその隙に敵を倒す。俺はそんなこと。
I felt a sickening mixture of gratitude and guilt. And more than either of those, I felt a sense of warmth well inside of me. I'm so sorry for doing this to you. Thank you so much. My words landed somewhat on both ends of the spectrum, and Yamazaki gave a troubled laugh.
謝らないでくれ。俺が負傷したのは俺の判断だ。とはいえこうなった以上戦闘は厳しい。この後どうやって敵の包囲を突破するか。
無様だな。
Uh-oh. Alright, well, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end this episode here for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to see more videos from me, then don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.